6, Dermot Mangan. Number 5, Martin Fallon. Number 4, Jerry Hill. Number 3, Ryan McMahon. Number 2, and captain Bobby Sheehan. Number 1, Chris Hennessy. 16, Killian McQuaid. 17, Hugo O'Malley. 18, Evan Coyle. 19, Martin Fleming. 20, Tim Corkery. And 21. 21 is Alex O'Grady. The referee for today's match is Stuart Douglas. I just want to take the opportunity to thank UCD sponsor EY and also mention that today's match is being sponsored by Coen Steel. So we're very grateful to Coen Steel for their support in the game today.
Good afternoon and welcome to UCD Bowl for the second half, the start of the second half of the season for UCD. We take on Ballynahinch in a reverse of last week's fixture. So round 10 of the AIL. I'm joined by Connor Dempsey here in commentary. He's got the call up from the PA usual gig, so moving up in the world.
Very glad to get it, Christine, and we're here. It was bright. It's becoming more overcast now. It's a cold day. There's been worse, and there's certainly a very strong wind, which is playing, so to speak, from right to left here. The teams we have are UCD as the home team. Front row Chris Hennessy, Bobby Sheehan captain, Rory McGuire. Second row Jerry Hill, Martin Fallon. Back row Joe Cronin, Oisin Spain, Bill Burns. Back line halfbacks Michael Maloney and James Tarrant. Centres Tim Corkery, Harry Donnelly. Wings Dylan O'Grady, Alex O'Grady. And fullback Niall Carroll. And then for Ballynahinch, front row George Saunderson, Clayton Milligan, Kyle McCall. Second row Bradley Looney and Cormac Izichukwu. Back row of Marcus Ray, Zach McCall, the captain, and Jamie McCartney. Halfbacks Conor McCauley and Greg Hutley. Centres Mark Best and George Pringle. Wingers Aaron Cairns and Fergal Jeffrey. And fullback Rory Butler.
Just about ready to go here, and James Tarrant's lining up the kickoff. Connor, are you interested by any of the things that's going on today? Is there anything you're keeping an eye on before kickoff?
Well, yes, the whole dynamic of this being a double header, so to speak, the way things happened with the away fixture for College to up in Hinch was cancelled before Christmas, so it was played last week, and the teams played out a ding-dong, 8 tries, 4 apiece. And with Ballynahinch holding on just at the end. So be interesting to see a few tweaks, a few Ulster contracted forwards coming in for Ballynahinch and a number of Leinster Academy players coming in for UCD. Be interesting to see if those changes will indeed change the outcome.
Yeah, definitely for sure. It would just a week to prepare and fix what went on last week and make the adjustments. It'll be interesting to see what both teams come up with.
Yeah, well, it's both teams know each other that bit better, and they've been able to feel each other out last week, and there'll be no secret, so to speak. So it won't take long to get stuck into each other and get the tempo of the game going. Hopefully, UCD playing into the wind this half, Christine.
Yeah. So we've got Doppler Media covering the game today. So massive shout out to Tom and his crew. They always have really great quality coverage. Something that you might not be able to see despite their efforts is the massive wind that UCD are kicking into.
You could just see it there holding the ball up a bit.
UCD recovered their own kick-off, big carry in the middle of the pitch. Nice platform to attack off straight away. UCD spread out wide. Chris Cosgrove on the ball now. Chris Cosgrove manages to present it back. Messi at the back of the scrum for UCD scrum half. Michael Maloney, but he pushes the ball away. He's got penalty advantage to play with. Kevin Croke is shouting free play. They've got the ball to play with. Still advantage. Referee will call it back. Brilliant start from UCD.
It looks like we have some late adjustments to the team sheet. Chris Cosgrave, I think he was listed to start.
He's out on the
wing, but he seems to be 13 at his back, and Ryan Deegan coming in on the wing there. So we'll try and catch up with what changes, adjustments are there.
JT manages to put UCD with a strong foothold inside the 22. UCD will be looking to pull something out of the playbook here and try and make a good start from this first visit into the opposition 22.
6-man called. First test for Bobby Sheehan, younger brother of Dan.
Michael Maloney is sent away to let the forwards do their thing. And predictably, UCD go for the maul. There's a scuffle for the ball. Doesn't look like UCD were able to bring it back. They've been held up. The referee says to get the ball back. Ballynahinch might have this now. This doesn't seem to have gone to plan for UCD, and that's a Ballynahinch ball.
And it looked like Zach McCall there, the captain, number 6, managed to get in and around the ball there and got in the way, certainly. He probably did most of the damage.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now UCD would have had made a very good start to the game, and it's unfortunate now they weren't able to capitalise on that, and the first line out didn't really go to plan. So first scrum of the day, by all accounts Ballynahinch seemed to have the upper hand last week, and the 2 penalty tries coming off the back of it, and that all important try that got them the win last week. So UCD will be looking to make a statement off the first scrum here on their home turf. Ballynahinch with the put in.
We'll see how the pitch holds up overall, walking across the surfaces in good nick, considering all the rain, etc. Maybe the wind has dried it out a bit, but we'll find out after a couple of scrums how it's playing. 1 week, not a long time to correct a scrum that's in trouble, and the 2 changes, I think, to UCD's pack, the principal changes have been in the back row, so back rowers, as a former one myself, we make a contribution, but it's the front 5 where it happens.
Yeah, Ballynahinch's changes have mainly come in a bit of a shuffle in the second row / back row, so interesting to see who get the first put in. Ball's at the 8's feet. He looks like he's picking off the back of the scrum. Great carry. He turns and presents. Ballynahinch looking to exit here. Nice, strong carry from Ballynahinch's hooker, Clayton Milligan. Ballynahinch catapulting, left-footed. 9 finds touch just outside the 22.
Oisin Spain there, the UCD open side did very well just to get a tap tackle on the Ballynahinch 8 there. That could have been a much bigger carry and a bigger exit overall. But it's a decent exit from Ballynahinch.
So 1 visit to the 22 for UCD, no points, and we'll be looking to get straight back in there. Off the top this time, and it's gone to 10, James Tarrant. Nice little midfield move to get a good crash ball. JT took that straight to the line. Deegan turns and presents. Good job. Moves it to Michael, moves it, and we've got a big crash in the middle of the pitch. He's looking to move slow ball in the back of the ruck there. Brilliant crossfield kick from James Tarrant. Unfortunately, the winger on the far field wasn't able to hold on to it in the sun. So the referee will come back for that knock on. But really good idea from James Tarrant. Saw the space out wide. Very close to perfect execution there, and unlucky there for O'Grady, one of the O'Grady brothers on the left wing there, knocking on. So as we get ready, I'm not sure if we're playing the new rules, are we, Christine, for scrums? Everything down and done in 30 seconds. We might have long enough to be able to mention this week's live stream sponsors. Coen Steel, and of course, coincidentally, their managing director is the junior vice president here and acting president today, Dave Coen. Himself a man of steel at tight head here in the 80s, so he tells me himself. What position did he play? Tight head, tight head. Not too bad. That's where all the real work happens, isn't it? Well, you tell me. You tell me.
They certainly get paid the big bucks in the pro game at tight head. The tight heads and the out halves are the highest paid by all accounts.
Oh no, I'd be in at scrum half now, so all the stuff that happens in the front row, we'd have no clue, and we put the ball in and hope it comes out
Access
the
all
other end.
areas.
Yeah.
The modern scrum half, you have to be at everything, don't you? You have to be within half a second of the ball popping out of every breakdown. It's phenomenal.
The odd
the
time
fitness.
I find myself in the front of a line out, I don't know what's happening. This modern thing. Ballynahinch with the put in. Nice clean scrum. And they've spread it wide. Their winger feels the ball. Brilliant step back inside. And his big carry, UCD shut it down. They're looking for the turnover, but Ballynahinch have secured possession. They move it back infield. Big carry. Their scrum half is looking to move it. He goes back blind, but that's cut out. Good job by Ross Deegan to cut that off and come flying out of the line. Cut down the scrum half's options. The ball's still there for Ballynahinch. They move it. Midfield ruck. Bobby Sheen looking for the turnover. Doesn't come away with it. Ballynahinch are spreading it wide. They've got numbers out here if they can move it. Big tackle. They still keep going the same way. Oh, unlucky. The ball did not go to hand.
And a UCD scrum, and that was 8 minutes into the game. That was the first few phases of possession in the UCD half for Ballynahinch.
Yeah, UCD have done really well to keep the ball inside the Ballynahinch half of the field for so long in the game. So, first big test for the UCD defence, and they seem to hold out pretty well. It'll be their possession now. Their first put into the scrum here. A few running repairs going on down in the pitch. Can't see who's down.
No.
They've got blocks on, so one of the forwards, presumably.
What is this blocks you speak of?
Oh, for the line-out jumpers.
Right,
Yeah.
that's all the strapping. That'd be strapping,
Yeah.
what I would have called, but it's definitely blocks. I'm not up with the lingo. Or what you're doing at the front of a line-out as a scrum half. What's going on there, Christine?
I think I'm a distraction.
All right.
Yeah.
At the best of times, you're a
Yeah.
distraction, says you. So
Not the tallest now, so I don't think I'd do much competing being thrown up at 2 or anything like that.
that's where you lull them into a false sense of security. The few short moves going, short set phase moves going on these days. The 5 meters out, and I think teams are using the short ball at the front of the line, aren't they, to get hookers away?
Yeah.
So
I might work on the height thing and be a viable option there.
well,
UCD's put into the scrum now, over on the UCD bowl side.
we'll
Good
see.
attendance in the bowl today.
Well, the thousands of supporters are behind us. Obviously, that's a good feed, well over the gain line.
And UCD's penalty, brilliant exit now from their own 22. And they've dealt with that first real attack from Ballynahinch and they've got a chance to put themselves back in the Ballynahinch half and sort out the territory. Good kick from JT. And that's the first ball of the day that's gone to lost.
In over the roof of the stand,
Yeah.
where they've a team of young children, not presumably up, getting the loose balls.
UCD line out now just inside their own at the Ballynahinch half. And a steal from Ballynahinch, but unfortunately looks like it was knocked on. The referee says no, it's not back.
Is that the first sign of the teams knowing each other, maybe knowing each other's lineouts, and
Yeah.
an early steal for Hinch?
That sounds about right. They read that well. Ballynahinch ball now on the halfway line. Ballynahinch scrum half is digging the ball out. Caterpillar is set up. He looks like he's going for the box kick. Bit of a tip on that, so everyone's on for Ballynahinch. Their centres close down the ball. They go to spring it wide. Oh, lovely floating pass out to Deegan.
He was nearly through himself, the centre there. I think it's Brownlee.
Massive hit. Chris steps inside. Tries to keep the ball alive so he's not tackled into touch. Deegan on the ball now. Great kick. Finds a bit of space in the backfield. Ballynahinch fullback covers well. Also manages. Oh, is that out on the full? The linesman says it was out on the full. So unfortunately, the Ballynahinch fullback wasn't able to find grass there. Or fortunately for UCD. So UCD will have the ball back inside the Ballynahinch half.
Some nice skills on play there. UCD working their way out, putting it through the hands, avoiding kicking into the wind until Deegan felt he saw space and he went for it. It nearly came off for him. In fact, it has with the overkick by the Hinch fullback. Unclean line-out
Bobby
ball.
Sheen tidying up. Great carry. He managed to bounce the poor Ballynahinch defender. Michael Maloney swings it back blind. And a massive carry from Ryan McMahon. Michael Maloney working the blind side just until they can find good purchase. They've made good ground from this. Big carry again. Ballynahinch claiming that they've the ball. Good carry from UCD again. Gradually trudging their way towards the 22. This work in the blind side has been really good.
Very tidy so far. Another big carry from the tight head. And back to the blind side again.
Big carry from Jerry Hill. Drive. Excellent carry from Jerry Hill. It looks like UCD are in the 22. And a penalty. Excellent work from UCD.
Very good opening by UCD to the game overall. Very controlled in what they're doing. Very tidy. Very few errors.
Yeah, you can see the experience Michael Maloney's had, like playing 9 consistently this season. Very controlled, as you say, and not unnecessarily going open. They're waiting until they've got the opportunity.
And not too surprisingly, going for the corner with the wind and being out on the wing there. It'd be a very difficult attempt for 3. So, at this game, Ballynahinch they're really mid-table at the moment. I think they're 6th and UCD 7th. But there's a gap of 8 points between them. A win here for UCD would really anchor them in the mid part of the table.
Yeah, they're currently level on points with Shannon. Only 1 place ahead of them because of a favourable points difference. So UCD will be looking to get a good score today and trying to get that win. So they're looking up the table as opposed to back down over their shoulder towards Shannon and the other teams.
That ball going nowhere.
Big crash and
Brownlee takes it in again.
This is scrappy, a lot of bodies on the floor. UCD slightly isolated on the carry, but they managed to secure possession. Michael Maloney dishes it out. Another big carry, and UCD are only about 5 metres out. We'll await the referee's decision here, but it looks like a penalty to Ballynahinch for a double movement, perhaps. So Ballynahinch penalty out. So that's the second big visit to the Ballynahinch 22. I think, not rolling away, possibly. We'll have to see the replay, but Ballynahinch, the end result is Ballynahinch penalty out. There seems to be.
Here's a replay now. No, we're just that's after the whistle's gone.
Seems to be a knock to Ballynahinch's number 4, Cormac Izzy.
Cormac is a Chukwu. Yeah, he's I think he started his rugby, I think, in Roscrea.
In CCR, indeed, yeah.
Yes.
The Tullamore man, yeah.
And moved up then across and did time in Scotland, the club there before Ulster spotted him.
Yeah, involved in the 7 setup for a while as well. It's always terrifying when you've got people in the second row and the back row that have the stamina to play 7s as well. A terrifying prospect. They've got the height and the stamina. And the
athleticism. He seems to a touch of the Ryan Bairds about him in terms of being an all-rounder.
Yeah, he's from Tullamore. He played a good bit of Gaelic football and hurling, and he had interests outside of rugby. But when, as you said, he went to CCR, a big rugby stronghold. Talks very well about the atmosphere there and their approach to rugby in CCR with the likes of Josh Wycherley and Finian Wycherley coming through the ranks, and
Michael Milne, of course, who's
as well,
playing for Leinster today in the Champions Cup. Is it Chukwu, I think, as well? Also, he made the Emerging Ireland tour, didn't he? I think he played there.
Yeah. Ballynahinch line out now. They've exited well from their 22, and they set up the maul. Jerry Hill was rolling away from that maul there, didn't give away the penalty. Ballynahinch making serious ground from this maul. Great free from Ballynahinch. But Bobby looks like he has a turnover. Excellent. Oh no, that wasn't Bobby. Michael Maloney takes it quickly.
Quick tap and go. Referee says
10,
that was 10. Was that the right thing to do?
Ball.
Not by the outcome.
That looked like a knock-on the ground, but again the referee says play on. He's leaving it go, letting the game be played. Big carry that looked like Kyle McCall. Ballynahinch spreading it wide. Big hit. Ballynahinch secure ball, and they're inside the UCD half now. Bobby Sheehan looking to get the turnover, but fortunately Chris Cosgrove still on the ground. Oh, tackle off the ball. Referee looks like he's given a penalty.
Taking advantage, yes.
Ballynahinch with the line break. And it's Greg Hartley. Greg Hartley bundles over for the try.
Definitely the UCD tight head was, let's say, committed there and found himself in the strange position of marking backs out in open territory and put the hit in anyway. Not maliciously, but...
the referee looks like he had a word, but I don't think there'll be much further made of it. He just had a word.
Hinch not too happy. I think it was a case of the wrong man in the right place. And he certainly winded the Ballynahinch player, but nothing more than that. And
Jamie McCartney's getting up, so good signs from that perspective. He's holding his hands out. I think he's campaigning for a yellow, appealing for a yellow, but as you say, the referee looks like he talked to the offending prop. So Greg Hutley will be looking to convert his own try. I believe he's Ballynahinch's top point scorer this season so far. 81 points before today, I think so. I think this is 88.
Yeah, Hinch looked to be claiming their lineouts that little bit easier, and certainly they got great momentum off that maul. And then another thing that's working for them now in the last few minutes is they're beginning to make ground around the edges.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And that was well worked. I mean, they despite the man going a man down, they put it through the hands and scored that try comfortably under the post.
Yeah, possibly it was a setup now from their maul has been a little bit more efficient. A few more running repairs going on. It looks like Mark Best is down, just being seen to. So first score of the game, Ballynahinch managed to get over. So their first real visit to the UCD 22, and they've come away with all 7 after a nice line break.
Yes, I mean, it's certainly, you'd have to say it was against the run of play, but it's a sign of a good side that takes their chances when they come. They've got the wind, and certainly they've got the sun at their backs. So they would have been hoping, with 20 minutes into the game, to be ahead at this stage, and they've done it despite UCD dominating in terms of territory and possession so far.
It looks like the referees announced that might have been a head injury, so Ballynahinch have a substitute on for, I think it was Mark Best that's after going off. It'd be funny if Rory Best was coming on to play in Ballynahinch in the UCD goal. Savage hit from the line from the restart from UCD, really putting pressure on that take. Ballynahinch managed to field it though, and they seem like they've secured possession. And they've cleared out the turnover attempt as well. So referee calls for a penalty. I think it was for talking back to the referee. So Ballynahinch will have their penalty set up here, just outside the 22.
Well, UCD had that's a pity. That's really cost them, because Hinch didn't really work themselves too far out. It was going to be a UCD line out on the 22, and now we're faced with a Hinch line out on halfway. So whatever happened there, it shouldn't happen again.
Referee making it very clear what he's expecting from the players, and completely unambiguous there. No back, not standing for any back chat there. Bobby Sheehan, captain, looks like he's having a word. He's standing at the back as tail gunner, but Ballynahinch go to the maul again, and they've gotten real purchase off this. This is definitely something that has to be addressed at half time. The Ballynahinch line out making serious ground, and UCD will have to come up with an answer for it. Big tackle off the back of the maul, and UCD have stopped their momentum without giving away a penalty, but Ballynahinch just inside, just past the UCD 10, and they're making serious ground. Ballynahinch go back blind with their 10, Greg Hutley making a lovely break, and they've made serious ground now, approaching the UCD 22. Macaulay at 9 starts spreading it wide. Lovely back move, they're sweeping it wide. They've got a 2v2 here, and great tackle by Chris Cosgrave, and he manages to get out of there as well. Ballynahinch still have the ball. Macaulay spreads it, big carry again. Ballynahinch still have the ball inside the 22 now, making serious ground. There's 6 passes. That's Ray, and Macaulay spreads it wide again. Big carry by Jamie McCartney again. Ballynahinch in the middle of the pitch now at halfway. They spread it back blind. Hutley tries an ambitious offload, but it doesn't come off. Back for the penalty now. UCD not rolling away in the tackle.
Not rolling away fast enough. It was certainly making the attempt. I'm not sure to what extent he delayed the ball, but maybe it's a bit of retribution for Rory Maguire's hit in midfield. Referee penalising him there for not rolling away fast enough.
A very kickable angle here for Greg Hutley, but that's not taking into consideration the wind is significant, so he's called in for reinforcements, but they've pointed towards the post, so he must fancy his chances. He's called in for a friend to hold the ball.
Yeah, again, the Ballynahinch line-out is giving Hinch the edge. The line-out maul more is the point, and also noticed that their 10, there was a bit of a mispass, but their 10 had too much time. There's no real pressure on him. He had too much time to reset and make a half break and then offload from the ground there. So UCD defence overall and body positioning in the line-out maul seems to be too high at the moment. And they won't want to encourage Hinch anymore with that line-out maul. They want to shore that up now, and because it's certainly helping them turn the tide. Once again, sort of playing from a position of deep, where UCD were deep in the Ballynahinch half. They've now gone up the field and extracted another score. And it's now a 2-score game at 10-0 to the away team, but with the elements of this half.
Greg Hutley managed to convert that penalty, so it's 10-0. He's added to his personal tally, and he's got 91 for the season now. Very impressive. After nine games in about 23 minutes, he's flying it. James Tarrant finally has the ball, so he's ready to restart the game. UCD with the lion's share of possession, really. They'll be disappointed to not be on the scoreboard yet. And the restart, again, contestable. Unfortunately, went for the ball. That was very close to getting it, but a knock-on from UCD.
Very good chase there from Ben Brownlee. That's the second time he's followed up to good effect, although it just a knock-on there. I think I'm right in saying that he is a grandson of, or a grandnephew of Ronnie Dawson, the former trustee of the IRFU and former Wanderers, Leinster, Ireland and Lions captain, hooker back in the 50s and 60s. But he's certainly putting himself about today. He's been good physically. He's a good long pass off his left hand out to Ross Deegan earlier on, and then he's competing in the air. So scrum infringement there, and again an easy out for Hinch here.
They call for the scrum again, so they're backing themselves off this platform. So far, there hasn't been either team with a noticeable advantage in any of the scrums.
No.
As I say, I'm only a scrum half, but they've all seemed to be really, really secure. And the ball's been coming out of the scrum fairly quickly, so there haven't been all that many resets of the scrum. No, it's been good. You'd think that if Hinch felt that they were really strong, that they might try and milk a penalty or something like that. We'll see if they are going for it here. No movement again, very strong.
That's very well held by UCD. In fact, UCD are getting the nudge back. So
and the ball's moved. Great job.
That's a big turnaround from last week.
Definitely.
Again, Ben Brownlee making his presence felt.
and the sun is in the eyes. UCD look to counter-attack.
Niall Carroll.
Lovely galloping feet, and he manages to present the ball back. The UCD sideline campaigning for a no arms tackle, but massive carry from UCD's number 6, and the ball is moved again
From
by
Mangan.
Michael Maloney, and Chris Cosgrave on the ball, and he spreads it wide. We got Ben Brownlee with a nice pirouette back inside, and Michael Maloney looks to move it again. Oh, unlucky, he's after hit. He was a little unsympathetic with the pass, and
For a moment it looked like a header there, but it probably came off the shoulder.
Ballynahinch find grass in the backfield, a very good kick, and Deegan will have to play this. And he backs himself with a brilliant step, and he beats the Ballynahinch, looks to beat the Ballynahinch player on the outside, but in fairness, some excellent defence from Ballynahinch's number 11, Aaron Cairns.
Well, Stegan certainly took it handy getting back for the ball. I thought he was lulling them into a false sense of security. Maybe that was the plan. He had me fooled, and I thought he was going to go
he looked
up
like
the wing there.
Yeah, he looked like he tried to back himself to go down the sideline, but in fairness, excellent defence from Cairns.
He was well marshalled.
Former member of the Sevens setup, I believe. So it's Ballynahinch have plenty of people who were formerly in the Sevens setup or in the Ulster setup. They've got a really good spread of some really experienced people. It's great to have the geographical spread of teams in Ballynahinch. They're really representing the North well.
Yes, I suppose you've Kyle McCall at tight head, a former Ulster prop, and Marcus Ray at he's listed here as 6, but I think it's, I'm not sure if it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, the little brother of
Matty Ray.
Matty Ray, yeah.
And Cormac Isachukwu, looking at him, I sort of read a lot about him. He's certainly he's togging out here. He looks to have filled out a lot. He's very tall, strong. He certainly looks to have added a few kilos in the last couple of years, and he's a big presence on the pitch here.
As you said, the Ballynahinch line-out's functioning really well, so their pack seem to be on song for this.
It's the main difference
game
between
so
the
far.
teams, I think,
Yeah.
that and Hinch's ability to execute on their opportunities. You know, the few bits of field position that they've had, pretty much the only two, they've extracted 2 scores. So College would like to register something to affirm the fact that they really are challenging keenly in this game.
Ballynahinch with a nice left-hand scrum, so this would be their backline's dream. This is bread and butter. Let's see what they have in the playbook. Brilliant hard line. And it's Ballynahinch's number 15 with a lovely line break there. And it's Rory Butler. And they've got a really lovely platform inside the UCD 22. Massive carry now by George Saunderson. And Macaulay spreads it wide and hits Hutley. UCD defend their line well. They've held out so far. Ballynahinch still with the ball. Carry back in. UCD will be looking to get line speed here. Really put pressure on. Can we get the turnover? Super pressure from UCD. And they've held out again. In fairness, some of the first up tackles have been very good from UCD.
They have, except for, that one having lauded Ben Brownlee for a very good performance so far. Rory Butler, Brownlee's a big man, but Butler is very tall, rangy. He's sort of remind you of the Barrett brother who plays at 15, Geordie Barrett. He's that kind of stature, a very, very big guy, good pace, athletic, and he found a good line that left Ben Brownlee eating grass. So
as we say, that left-hand scrum is the backline's dream. They can really stretch the creative muscles out there and pull out the entire playbook. So the world's their oyster for those left-hand scrums.
Well,
so they use that to really good effect, and their 10 picked a really good option, like you said, to put the Ballynahinch full back through.
Yeah, Huntley has the Hinch 10 has certainly caught the eye so far. He's really orchestrating things, and everybody seems to be in tune with him in terms of what he's trying to do. So they're an impressive team.
Yeah. So UCD, off the back of that scrum, they managed to find a decent exit through James Tarn. So we've moved back outside our 22. So good exit, in fairness.
Again, the UCD scrum, for all the reports, I didn't see last week's match for the reports of penalty tries off the scrum, etc. Very encouraging to see it being very solid. And we're back now to the line-out. Let's see if Hinch tried to get further purchase out of the line-out maul. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, when you're getting change from it, may as well keep plugging it.
One forward in the back line here, one second row forward, which...
And the Ballynahinch scrum half Macaulay's been sent into the back line as well away, so it does look like they might go
There's
for the
something
maul
afoot.
They go up at 4 and they set up the maul again. UCD don't contest though, so Ballynahinch decide to break off the back. Probably a good option from UCD not to engage there. A big carry from Ballynahinch back inside. And they've got good field position. Spread it to the wide through 10 again. And good clear out from Ballynahinch's 13 Pringle. And Ballynahinch now have the ball on the 22, it looks like.
They're recycling quickly, which is making a difference.
For sure. And good carry from Cormac Izzy there, and Ballynahinch have maintained possession. Big tackle from UCD captain.
That's fast
Bobby
rock
Sheehan
ball
there.
again, and here's the effect of it.
And excellent line break from Ballynahinch. And they look to be over, and that's Ballynahinch's second try, it looks like. That was excellent play from Ballynahinch, in fairness. They really well worked.
Yeah, from the line-out play there, from first phase, there was everybody knew what they were trying to do. I think a feature for me on that first line-out, on the line-out indeed, was that they didn't really go for them all. It was a lot of animation, a lot of noise, and they moved it away from there quickly. And gave it to the runner. The second row, who had been pulled out, was obviously planned for a run. And then after that, the big feature was the speed of the ruck play, which opened up gaps and allowed the back line, which running straight and true, have again maximised their chances.
I think it's another indication of how together their line out was. That the minute they got the ball down and had set up for the maul, they realised UCD weren't going to try and counter maul it, so they moved the ball straight away. So it seems like they're really on song, they're really working well together, that Ballynahinch line out. As you say, that looks to be the big difference.
Very cohesive team. Everyone's on point. Everybody knows what's expected of them, and they look very, very tidy, and certainly are maximising again.
Hutley's most difficult kick so far, but he's made it look easy out from the tram lines on the between the 15 and the 5, so he's added to his personal tally again, and he's converted that try. So Ballynahinch are now 17-0 up. Again, UCD should really look to get back into
Yeah,
the
I think it's going to be
Ballynahinch
important now. It's really, yes, they've the win to the second half, but it's really important now that they get something back here before half time.
Again, a really well contested restart, and UCD look like they've come back with the ball. So JT's restarts have been really good, and they've been pretty much all contestable. So yeah, UCD with possession inside the opposition's 40 now, and massive carry in midfield. Good quick clear out, and Bobby Sheen's looking to tidy up this ball.
We're going backwards.
Ballynahinch
defence has been very good.
Yeah. So big carry. UCD, as you say, been going backwards, so they're looking to get some forward momentum. They look to spread it wide. Bobby Sheehan with a brilliant kick into the backfield, but it was well covered by the Ballynahinch 15. Chris Cosgrave makes a diving attempt to catch the ball, but it's all okay. He still has the ball. He steps the player, and he goes to step both players twice. 4 steps in probably as many milliseconds. And a Ballynahinch penalty. That's the second time Ballynahinch have found grass in the UCD 22 off a turnover ball, and they've managed to come away with penalties inside the UCD 22. Really kickable positions, and UCD really suffering from their own mistakes here.
Very much so. Very disheartening for UCD there. They've the restarts have been very good. The wind is holding the ball up there. They're getting into contest, and third time lucky, so to speak. They came away with the ball, but we didn't have the same kind of snap and direction. We weren't able to get over the game line, and indeed very soon we were going backwards, leaving Bobby to decide to go on a speculative kick, which was well covered.
It was a good idea from Bobby. If he had found touch, it would have been really, really great. But as you say, it was well covered by the Ballynahinch team. Interestingly, they've opted not to go from the post here from a kick that was probably contestable enough. And they've actually kicked for
Yeah,
the corner here.
UCD backs really, this is the second time that down in this corner that they've dilly-dallied a bit rather than get the ball away and restart again. Been over ambitious.
Ballynahinch with a clean take in the line out, and they set up the maul again. They're getting good purchase out of it. UCD have halted their momentum. No penalty advantage, so Ballynahinch with the nice setup just inside the 5 metre line. UCD have set up very low to try and batten down the hatches here and stop Ballynahinch scoring a try, and it's held up. Excellent defence from UCD. They managed to deal with the Ballynahinch maul really close to the line where it mattered the most. So it's held up, so it'll be UCD kick out from the goal line.
That's a big relief. A big relief. You would have thought that the hard work was in stopping a potential try there. I'd say James Tarrant is now considering it's possibly equally as hard now to get a decent dropout into the teeth of this wind.
So yeah, Ballynahinch maul dealt with there by UCD, so that's really positive from their own perspective. Again, James Tarrant with a kick that turns out to be contestable. A goal line restart to himself, it seems, and UCD with possession just inside their own 22. Jerry Hill pushes it wide, and the UCD backs linking with Bobby Sheehan, and a speculative kick from Deegan kind of slices off his boot and goes into the midfield. Ballynahinch will be delighted with that kick, and they have possession. Hutley with the ball, and he finds a really nice touch to pin UCD back inside their 22. And that's very unfortunate after the goal line restart that we had secured possession and had an opportunity to exit our own 22. We just couldn't get the ball out.
Yeah, I think College, again, only themselves to blame. Profligate in terms of dealing with possession and playing the percentages. The Pack are giving a decent platform overall and decent amount of possession, but the backs need to use the ball more effectively and need to be much more efficient in tidying up a ball that's kicked deep.
Yeah, and
it's a great take.
Unfortunate kick from Deegan. It just sliced off his foot, unfortunately, and Ballynahinch have us pinned back in. But good, clean line out ball. Bobby Sheehan picked that up off his shoelaces, and they have the ball back again. And UCD penalty. Bobby Sheehan did well there to look after that ball.
Yeah, UCD living dangerously here, deep in their 22.
A penalty out now, and an opportunity to finally clear the lines. And a chance to take a breather after that pressure. JT with the ball, he looks like he's going to kick the ball up the line. About 3 minutes to go till half time. So UCD it would be really great if we could get a score on the board before the half. UCD looking to work their way up the pitch here. Their own put into the line out.
We'll see if the back line can conjure up something.
Bobby Sheehan with the put into the line out, and it doesn't go to hand with Jerry Hill. It bounces off his fingertips, and Ballynahinch have the ball again inside. They're just on the UCD 22, just make their way inside. And Macaulay has the ball. It might be advantage there. Yeah, it is penalty advantage. The referee puts his hand out, so Macaulay's on the ground, and he moves the ball. Hutley with a really nice break and a wonderful offload, a show and go from the 6. And they have the ball 5 metres out, and hands would do it, but it looks like a knock-on. The referee still had his hands out, so it might be coming back for a penalty, or it might be advantage over. We'll wait for his shout. Bobby Sheehan's just asking it was advantage over. I think the referee's having a word with him about the number of penalties being accrued.
Card for playing the 9, I assume.
Possibly a deliberate knock-on or something.
No,
so
yes, it's a card. It's a penalty on the spot there.
Yeah.
So
Deegan has gone off. He's offside, I think he's saying. So Deegan's stopped a try opportunity, but UCD's not out of the woods yet, still under pressure here, about 5 metres out with Ballynahinch. And They look like they're going to take a quick
The
tap
rot
from
has
there.
started really in the lineouts, and it's continued. And what's happened on the contesting on the UCD ball, they're because of the wind. Hinch are contesting. It's short ball that UCD are throwing, and Hinch are getting up for it, and it's a good contest every time. And
So
so
they're
far
not
50-50.
They're not taking the quick tap. They've opted for the scrum again, a good platform to attack off when they're on the left-hand side, and they've got lots of options. They've got a bit of a blind side to work with, and then the scrum half, Michael Maloney, will be tied up on the left as well. So
Yeah, the Ballynahinch scrum half is providing a great service in their back line. Why wouldn't they? Based on how they've moved so far, Hinch are possibly not looking for the scrum, which was last week, likely to back the back line again to deliver another silky movement.
Ballynahinch
the scrum
made
does
good
move
distance
forward.
on that. And it's a penalty to Ballynahinch off the scrum, the first scrum penalty of the day. Ballynahinch's number 8 was looking to take that quick, and he was pushed off the ball by Macaulay, the scrum half. He's telling him to calm down. That's good game management from the 9. Calm heads probably needed here. They've got a minute and a bit to work with, so they're not under time pressure. And I'd say they'd be happy enough to ride out the rest of this half inside the UCD 22, where it's nice and safe. And they've opted for the scrum again after getting the penalties. Probably a wise choice. UCD, again, they're down one player with the yellow card, so they've got the space, Ballynahinch, to work with off the back of the scrum.
You would think Ballynahinch go for the jugular here. They have a great opportunity. All the elements, a man extra, a scrum going forward. I think they'll be really backing themselves here for the try. Although commentators cursed the last time, they kept it in the pack rather than play it out. And indeed, the scrum has, see the pitch is cut up badly there, so the scrum has been brought a little bit out towards the touchline.
Resetting scrums, always the most interesting part of the game. Everyone gets to have a quick chat before the game really starts.
Yeah, it seems to have got longer and longer and longer. I suppose it started in the interest of safety. Scrums used to be people charging at each other from 5 metres out, but it's turned into something of...
an IFA meeting.
You which?
An IFA meeting.
An IFA, yeah. Well put. Department of Agriculture here, or at least the Faculty of Agriculture, would back that one.
Macaulay puts the ball back into the scrum.
And again, they're trundling
Ballynahinch
forward.
looking like they're making distance off this. The referee looks to be running under the post to give a penalty try. And Ballynahinch have gotten great purchase from that scrum, those two scrums. So the first penalty try, the penalty try for Ballynahinch. So that'll be an automatic 7 points, and that's the half time. Disappointing for UCD that they gave away the penalty try when they'd been holding out really well in the scrum, and the scrums had been very solid so far.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Heads have gone down. The flow of the game was very good for UCD in the first quarter. But then they invited Ballynahinch in. They started getting purchase through the line-out mauls, and from then on, really, Ballynahinch much better in their execution and taking their chances. And UCD's heads have gone down a bit. And I think the scrum there in particular, sort of an example of it being rock solid for the whole half, and suddenly we get two scrums, and the second one resulting in a penalty try. Obviously, and the collapse on that second one was so comprehensive that the referee really left with no option but to give the penalty try. You don't normally get one after two scrums retreating, but on that occasion I think it was a comprehensive collapse.
Lots to ponder for UCD, for the UCD huddle there at half time. It's 24-0 to Ballynahinch.
Provide customers with reliable and timely delivery of steel products throughout the island of Ireland and the UK. Coen Steel is proud to have developed a global network of strategic alliances that provide customers with greater access to premier steel mills across Europe and Asia. These premier partnerships also provide Coen Steel's customers with superior product support designed to enhance product performance and extend product life. Unrivaled in its ability to strengthen customer outcomes through its commitment to quality, innovative practice and leading-edge technology, Coen Steel is your premier Irish partner for strength and innovation in steel. To learn more, visit coensteel.ie. Coen Steel is one of Ireland's foremost distributors and manufacturers of premium-grade steel. Coen Steel is renowned for its industry-leading commitment to innovation, quality standards and strengthening customer outcomes. Featuring an extensive network right across Ireland, Coen Steel sources, stocks and fabricates.
And welcome back to the second half of the season here in the UCD Bowl today. UCD playing from right to left in this half with the benefit of the wind, and they fielded the ball and secured possession. They'll be looking to sort out a lot of the issues that came up in the first half, namely spending some time in the Ballynahinch half. So hopefully that's doable with the benefit of the wind. Ballynahinch with the ball here, and they've secured it. Macaulay spreads it wide. Big carry from number 6, Marcus Ray, for Ballynahinch. And they've a carry in midfield. Clayton Milligan presents the ball. And a big step from George Saunderson. So all the front row of Ballynahinch getting good carries in early. Hatley takes a good carry. And Bobby Sheen with a nice secure tackle there to shut down the Ballynahinch attack. UCD looking to get the turnover, but no change there. Macaulay getting creative. With a brilliant steal from Ben Bradley. He stood right in the passing channel. But Ballynahinch turn it over on the ground. Marcus Ray presents the ball, and it's Ballynahinch scrum half. The 9 campaigning for a penalty there. The ball spread wide, doesn't go to hand. Ballynahinch still have the ball. They're looking to go wide. They've made a nice line break down the wing. Last ditch tackle, doesn't go to hand. Tried the offload, but it didn't go to hand. UCD look to get the ball. Ballynahinch trying to get the turnover, but UCD have secured it. James Tarrant acting as scrum half. Big clear out coming from Bobby Byrne on his knees. And Michael Maloney back in at scrum half. And UCD have secured possession. They'll be looking to exit from here. Big line break from Ballynahinch down the sideline. But Michael Maloney looks to clear. The box kick rather central. Ballynahinch feel the ball well. Dancing feet of their centre, and he finds his way to the ground and manages to get the ball away from Macaulay, the scrum half. Some big first hits from UCD coming in, but Ballynahinch still making ground. Shoulder off the ball, it looks like UCD are campaigning for, but the referee allows the game to be played on. Ballynahinch still with the ball. They look to go blind again. UCD with the tackle. The referee says the knock-on was off the shoulder, and then he says the Ballynahinch player knocked the ball back as well. Again, a lot being let go by the referee. He's looking for the ball to be played. UCD come up with the ball, and they try to kick into the Ballynahinch 22. However, the ball's gone dead.
Well, that was a helter-skelter start to the second half. You could see UCD, really, who got a fair bollocking from their coaches at half-time and told to really get their act together and put some heart into it. But Ballynahinch making it very difficult to them in terms of their ability to retain possession through many, many phases. And yet, as that win shows us, one mistake from Hinch and a little pop over their heads from a UCD kick, and nearly gave UCD very, very good field position.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the wind, it just ran out over the dead ball line.
Yeah, I think, for UCD, 24-0 down on a day like this, all you can do is really hit the reset mentally and say, we're going to win this half, and see where you go from there. Because if you're thinking of it as a 24-point deficit, it's very, very hard mentally to give of your best. So I presume that will be the message, in addition to the proper old-fashioned bollocking that Mark McDermott, their very experienced coach, former coach to the Russian national team, amongst others, at half-time. Because certainly they fell away very badly in the second quarter of that first half.
Scrum goes down there on the sideline over on the stand side of the UCD bowl. So reset again. But yeah, most definitely, as you said, it's been a good start to the half for UCD, though. They'll be looking to just get on the scoreboard. I think that's step one. Just claw back some of the deficit, as you said. Just find some purchase inside the Ballynahinch half. And reset again, so Ballynahinch with the put into the scrum. And a penalty to Ballynahinch, so their scrum starting to get a good purchase there. So that's the third scrum penalty in a row.
Yeah, and a change of tight head prop there at half time with Rory Maguire going off and the very experienced Evan Coyle coming in, and that's the first outcome, is a penalty for Hinch.
Greg Hutley with a good clearance kick against the wind, and he's managed to find just the far side of the UCD 10, so they'll have a put in there. As you say, Evan Coyle probably brought in to shore up that scrum. He finds himself at the tail of the line out now. Ballynahinch with the line out, they go to the maul and they look like they're making good ground from this. UCD piling numbers in but not being able to stem the flow of this Ballynahinch maul that rumbles on. They've gone the whole way from the 10 to the 22, and Macaulay breaks off the back, manages to link up with his backs. Pringle making great ground with this carry after getting the pop ball from his fullback. And Ray, the ever willing to carry, makes good ground inside the UCD, inside the 22. And Cormac is a choke who's brought down. Brilliant tackle from Ben. And it's a knock on from Ballynahinch on the ground, it looks like. So UCD defence looking after the ball well, it seems. But Ballynahinch making serious ground off all their carries. They need to stem that flow.
Yeah, great purpose in everything that Ballynahinch are doing, and great execution. Lovely hands there, again from the back line, everybody running straight lines. So it's everything done at good pace and with high skill. And that looks like UCD back to full numbers, or is it a substitution?
It's a substitution. So UCD put into the scrum here just on their own just on their own 5, and they'll be looking to exit from their 22 here. They're all set up to the right again, still down to 14 players it seems. So Michael Maloney putting the ball into the scrum. UCD break off the back of the scrum with a big carry from number 12, Ben Brownlee, with the clear out. And Michael Maloney's looking to link up with JT, the 10. And it doesn't look like it's going to make touch. Ballynahinch feel the ball. Great line speed from O'Grady. And UCD, the rest of the line have brought the ball. The UCD. And it's a Ballynahinch penalty advantage for a high tackle on the scrum half, Macaulay. And a knock on, it looks like, from Ballynahinch. But the referee will come back for the penalty advantage. The linesman on the near side looks to be calling attention to the referee for a substitution, 2 substitutions for the Ballynahinch team. And so they're making changes in their front row, it seems. 2 changes for the Ballynahinch front row then.
Hooker and Loosehead being replaced there. So coming on at Loosehead is Joe Charles, and the hooker is Nacho Cladera. And for UCD, I think it looked like Jerry Hill coming off and replaced by Lorcan Fallon.
Ballynahinch put into the line out here. Again, all indications would be that they'd go back to this maul that's giving them great advantage.
Absolutely, it's the gift that keeps on giving in this match so far. What can UCD do to stop it? Are they staying on the ground? Looks like it. They're not lining up to jump for it. Shortened to a 4-man.
And good setup from Ballynahinch, and they look to get
better body positions from UCD that time.
And they've stemmed the initial flow, but Ballynahinch start to rumble forward, and the numbers pile in. The referee's hands are down, so everyone's free. UCD seem like they've stopped it, but the referee's hand is out for a penalty advantage. Bobby Sheen tries to get out of there. Ballynahinch with the ball, a lovely pop out the back to the 10. The 10 with advantage decides to try and find space in the backfield, and we'll go back for the advantage. But nice and creative from Ballynahinch. They had the 15 stepping up as first receiver there instead of the 10 to release the 10 to get creative.
Yes, and then when the 10 gets it, and he still has the time to sort of stop and to consider another play. I know he was playing, he had a free hit, so to speak, with the penalty. I do have to say, I find it very hard in today's game where coming in from the side, I mean, you've really, if you don't come in at a 0 degree angle, anything that's marginally from the side, it yields a penalty. And line out mauls.
I thought that they dealt with that maul relatively well, though.
Yeah,
despite
but it
giving
was
away
still
the
a penalty. Still a penalty.
For sure. Yeah.
So it still yielded about 20 metres.
Yeah. So Ballynahinch still have the ball inside the UCD 22, and again line out. So we'll see what UCD can come up with to try and stem this Ballynahinch line out that seems to be rumbling without stopping. The unstoppable force.
We shall see.
Oh, the ball doesn't go
that's
to
how you
hand for
stop it.
Ballynahinch, and UCD's Ben Brownlee tidies up the ball,
Need
and
to get that
Michael
away.
Maloney
They'll
is
counter
calling
here.
in for reinforcements, and Ballynahinch pile into the ruck to try and turn over the ball, but UCD have it secured for the moment, and Michael Maloney decides to not mess around with it anymore and promptly hits the ball off the stand.
Thank God for that wind. Great clearance, taking full advantage of the elements.
Yeah. I think it can't be overstated the strength of the wind out there that the players are playing against. So in this
Very strong, without being storm force.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong.
so a big advantage to UCD to have it on their backs and hopefully help them.
If we can get some possession, we'll see whether we choose to kick it into. I would be thinking kicking into good position and try and play from there.
Good line out from Ballynahinch. Again, they go to the maul, and again, their initial shove is quite good. And UCD scrambling to try and stem this flow. Ballynahinch still with the ball, but UCD look to have stopped it for the second time. Macaulay flashes it out wide. Greg Hutley. And there's a step by, it looks like number 11 who's come off his wing. Macaulay, they decide to keep going the same way around. They link up again, keep the ball alive. Ron O'Gara would be very impressed. Big step from the fullback back inside, and despite the attempts of UCD for the turnover, Ballynahinch have looked after the ball. Big carry by Kyle McCall back into midfield, and Macaulay secures ball at the back. It's messy ball at the back of that ruck. Macaulay looks to flash it wide. Big line speed from UCD on the blind side, and the poor Ballynahinch winger that got absolutely flattened there. And Cormac Izzy takes the ball back inside. Big clear out coming from Ballynahinch. The ball seemed to be out. They've secured possession. Again, UCD holding up very well. Lots of pressure on that. Is the turnover there? Okay. They look like they're the UCD sideline are calling for sealing off at the ruck, but the referee's just letting the ball be played. Ballynahinch have the ball again. UCD calling for sealing, but the referee having none of it. UCD coming with line speed each time. Really good defence here from UCD. Chris Cosgrave decides not to go for the turnover there. Again, big hit from UCD, and again they're trying to sniff at the ruck, but no purchase. Carry from Ballynahinch again. They've looked after the ball well, and Ballynahinch spread it wide now after a good few carries in tight, and UCD have pushed them back a good 7 metres off that ruck. So not making gain line there, Ballynahinch. And again, UCD pushed them back. Again, this is very good defence from UCD to hold out, really putting pressure on Ballynahinch. Good distance made from Cormac Izzy, but he tried the offload. It didn't go to hand. UCD with the advantage, and Deegan, who's back on from the yellow, big step off his foot. He looks to make purchase. But no advantage coming, says the referee. That was very frantic stuff.
Yeah, and UCD much better press overall. They got their defensive alignment better there, but having to expend an awful lot of energy and still 24-0 down. So better, but still not really yielding any major results.
And Cormac is a Choku trying to link up with his second row partner Bradley Looney there. Bradley Looney's had a very good season for Ballynahinch. He's been doing very well. So it was an ambitious attempt, and it would have made a lovely. There would have been a lovely line break from Looney off that pop if it had gone to hand. So you can kind of see what Cormac was thinking, but unfortunately for Ballynahinch, didn't come off.
Yeah, I would have expected a little bit more from Izuchukwu in terms of busting through and getting offloads. I expected a bit more purchase from him than we've seen so far in the game.
Bobby Sheen have a word with the referee, and there's some serious hand gestures going on, so I'd imagine it's something to do with scrums or lineouts. Some detail. I'd
be trying to sow some seed of doubt in his mind about the legality of their excellent line-out maul, but good luck to you with that, Bobby. The Ballynahinch line-out maul is excellent. Their body positions are very good. It's very elongated. The ball's right at the back, and it seems extremely expert.
Yeah, their setup has been very good. So there's hand gestures about angles, I think, so it might have been.
Hopefully you've got to try something, I suppose. There's nothing obvious that I can see.
Yeah, we can only speculate from here. Michael Maloney with the ball now. He'll be putting it into the back of the scrum. UCD
well, that's another thing with the modern game. He will be putting it into the back of the scrum, and even though it is the law not to feed crooked, there'll be nothing said about it. But there you go. I think Brian Moore lost that one a long time ago on the BBC.
Interesting attacking platform here, midfield scrum, so UCD can attack both sides. They've set up interestingly, lots of options, and again, Deegan's back on the field, so they've got lots of options. Again, the Ballynahinch scrum half will be here on the near side to us on the left hand side, so will they attack down open, or will they attack back blind? Or will they come up with something different altogether?
It may as well be Sabutio to me. I can't make out what their options are, or what the alignments are. Bar saying the only thing that seems obvious to this forward is that Niall Carroll, the UCD fullback, is up in the line and asking questions then of Ballynahinch, whose fullback has to stay back, especially with this wind. So UCD have the numbers if they win it, which unfortunately is an if at this stage with the scrum. If they win it, will they put it through the hands, or will they look to gain ground by kicking to the corners and trying to pressure Ballynahinch?
Hopefully it'll be easier on their own put into the scrum, and they can move it from the back of the scrum as quickly as possible. So
yeah, the last year's Ireland under-20 number 8 James Culhan at the back of this. He was player of the tournament, and it's a quick release. Cosgrave overran Niall Carroll there.
They looked after the ball, but Ballynahinch have a penalty, a turnover coming from their winger, number 14, and that's Fergus Gemfrey. Now, that's very unfortunate from UCD. It seems like they got their wires crossed in that move.
Yes,
blind.
Cosgrave overrunning Carroll, who had to double back. And that's the thing, I suppose, teams having to chop and change. You know, it's difficult, especially in a back line, to get your alignments, etc. I think the Ballynahinch back line is very much the same 7 that lined out last week, and you can see the cohesion in the way they've been playing.
Yeah, as you say, the chop and change. So Chris Cosgrave is actually starting at 13. He's been moved in the wing because of an injury at the warm-up. But yeah, so the change would likely have affected there.
I don't know if I noticed or if it's a new thing or whether I just missed it for the whole first half. Kyle McCall, the tight head prop, throwing into that line out. So not just a pretty face.
And another penalty coming from the Ballynahinch maul.
Evan Coyle sacking the man at the back of the maul.
A great feed from Ray. And he presents the ball, and McCauley can move it. Greg Hutley with time on the ball to spread it wide, and their fullback again taking the ball into contact. Ballynahinch backline looking like they've got all the time in the world. Good line speed from UCD when Ballynahinch decided to come back blind, but Ballynahinch getting no territorial advantage from that play, so the referee's calling it back for a Ballynahinch penalty. Bobby Sheen, captain, being talked to by the referee, possibly about the repeated infringements at the back of the maul.
Yeah, another warning there for UCD, already on thin ice, and still 24 points down. So The referee has given 10 metres in that regard. The sacking of the back of the man at the back of the Ballynahinch Mall was 10 metres further back from there. So
It's been tough so far today for UCD, but is there any positives you can think of that UCD can focus on, things that are going well for them?
well, unfortunately not. The forwards, are making a decent contest of it in the line out. I think has gone well, despite Ballynahinch contesting. We'll see if UCD contest here at all, but it's hard to contest when you've got that maul to look forward to or to deal with. So again, the UCD jumpers look like they're lining up to keep their feet on the ground and drive Ballynahinch back, going short.
Ballynahinch again go to the maul, and they're making decent ground here. It's been brought to ground. No hand up from the referee, so it's just possession for Ballynahinch. This looked to spread it wide, and their 15 is met with a ferocious tackle in the middle of the pitch, and UCD have
Boot the
turned
ball
over
there,
the ball.
surely.
Chris
College.
Cosgrave looks to link, and they find space to kick the ball into the backfield, well fielded by Ballynahinch, and the kick tennis begins. UCD's fullback, brilliant contest in the air from Ballynahinch, and they've secured possession. A brilliant kick and gather from Ballynahinch, and they're looking to make ground. Ballynahinch is 13 down, receiving running repairs. It's Pringle, their top try scorer of the season so far. UCD's defence holding up well. Big carry from Cormac Izzy in the middle of the pitch. He looks to present the ball, and Macaulay, the UCD line, fires up, so he decides not to pass the ball, and they go for a tight carry instead, looking after the ball. Ballynahinch still with the ball just near the touchline here. I'd say they've time for one more going blind, but they decide to come back infield. Well met by UCD with a good tackle, and Macaulay goes to link up with his 10, who opts against linking with his forwards and takes the ball into contact instead, drops the shoulder and tucks the ball under the jumper. Ballynahinch still with the ball here. UCD contesting on the ground, but Ballynahinch have secured it. JT flying up out of the line, and they've put good pressure on JT trying to get the turnover, but unfortunately he doesn't get it. Great pressure from UCD. The ball's gone to ground, and it looks like UCD have the ball. Excellent stuff from UCD, and they put boot to ball to try and find space. Pringle lucky not to knock it on there. He still has the ball, and a big step off his right foot, and he takes the ball into contact in midfield. He looks to be better he looks to be better after taking the big hit and after the attention he was receiving. Ballynahinch with the ball on the halfway line now, and lovely break there. Brilliant hands to release their second row on the wing. Looks almost like a no arms tackle from UCD, but we're all okay. Ballynahinch still with the ball. They've made excellent ground here, and Cormac goes to present the ball. Macaulay at the back of the ruck has been really good. Ball doesn't go to hand, but Ballynahinch still have the ball. Ben Brownlee with great line speed, and Ballynahinch now have been forced back a good few metres. Good defence from UCD.
UCD were playing with a man down there. James Tarrant, he's back in the line. He'd taken a knock back in the Ballynahinch half. And the referee had been playing an advantage there.
So Ballynahinch tried to find space in the backfield, securing the knowledge that they had the penalty advantage coming. But again, another penalty from UCD. The discipline seems to be an issue. UCD have picked up a lot of penalties today.
Yes, well, I think they're under pressure all the time. They're under pressure at set phase, and they're also Ballynahinch's ability to retain the ball without error and stretch UCD and move the ball quickly through the phases. So at all times, very hard to get that realignment right, and UCD really you're clutching at chasing shadows.
Yeah. As you say, very difficult to keep that penalty count down when Ballynahinch have been looking after the ball so well.
Yes.
And they've been so strong at the set piece time.
The long walk up to the line out. Again, this is something that we'd love to see. The time spent forming lineouts cut right down.
Ballynahinch about halfway inside their own, the UCD 22. They go to the maul again and really tidy, and the transfer straight back to their number 3, Colin McCall, but he loses the ball, and UCD look like they've turned it over again. Dangerous looking clear out there almost, but UCD, the referee didn't see anything. UCD still have the ball about on their 5 metre line, so they'll be looking to exit here. Deegan is pointing to the sky, telling Michael Maloney to get the ball out of here.
You want an out half clearance here. You want to, rather than.
And Michael Maloney is blocked down, so the ball was touched, so it'll be UCD put into the line out. But yes, as you say, a lot of pressure there. UCD changes coming in.
We'll be looking to engineer an exit here that allows somebody with a long boot, a James Lowe or a Jamie Osborne style boot, to get some purchase, because UCD's only friend in this half so far has been the wind, when the odd time that the ball has broken UCD's way, and the wind has given them a chance. We really need to get College get some field position to make some contest of this second half. That said, it's still 0-0 in the second half, so from that perspective, it's a draw. Fine take at the top of the throw there.
And the ball is transferred, and UCD trying to exit from their own 22. Michael Maloney with the ball again, and he goes to the skies with the box kick, and he manages to find a really good touch. Excellent kick from Michael Maloney. As you say, with the aid of the wind, it was a very good kick.
Super clearance.
So UCD out of their 22. They've Bobby Sheens is appealing to the linesman to say that they're possibly a few more inches on that, like any good captain, trying to take an inch. But
yes, we used to be able to rely back in the 80s here, 70s and 80s, on the Red Baron, as he was known, David Maughan, the late David Maughan, Justice David Maughan, who was known to be a touch, very distinguished in terms of wearing the red boiler suit, hence the Red Baron.
Ballynahinch with the ball here, and they make it to inside past the UCD 10 line. Bobby Sheehan shuts that down, and Ballynahinch with the ball. They go to fling it wide, and UCD look to have turned it over with defenders standing in the passing channel there really well to cut down that attack on a 3v1, and Bobby Sheehan acts scrum half and then goes to act scrum half again. He's probably considering a position change. Scrum half back row and
well, again,
hooker.
you have to wonder why College are trying to put it through the hands and not use the wind. On that occasion, it was one of their own errors.
Yeah. Chris Crosgrave probably saw a bit of space out wide, and it was Ben Brownlee actually. And tried to link. It was Chris Crosgrave trying to link with his winger out wide, but unfortunately it was just forward. So Ballynahinch put into the scrum.
And maybe the wind catching that a bit. I'd be appealing for the hands going backwards malarkey, in which forward passes are deemed to have gone backwards. That's another thing I've never got my head around. But as we could see there in the replay, that one definitely drifting significantly forward. The referee right to call it.
Again, another thanks to the matchday sponsors, Coen Steel. It's brilliant that we're able to cover these games and reach people that can't make it to the bowl. Like we were saying earlier, massive attendance here at the bowl, packed out here on the hillside, but a big minority holding out and standing over in the stand.
A great strapline for the business they're in, Coen Steel, and you'd have thought that it's a nice segue into rugby. It's strength and innovation, forwards and backs. Does that work for you? It's working for me anyway. It's where my head's gone to.
And again, EY, the club sponsors, and their continued support. Ballynahinch with the put into the scrum again. And a penalty for Ballynahinch again. I think the referee is pointing to the loose head prop here for dropping his bind or dropping his elbow. And
pulling it down, I have to say, I thought the Ballynahinch tight head was going down himself, but maybe it was caused unfairly. Referee has a better view of it than I do. So
Greg Hutley with the kick. He's put the ball into touch just outside the 22. And Kyle McCall to put the ball in. Very experienced prop, it must
Very,
be
yeah.
said, Kyle, and he's represented Ulster on a number of occasions. It's brilliant for Ballynahinch that they can call on such experienced.
Yeah.
They have such an experienced team and players that really know the game inside and out. It's really
And someone who can
good.
play two positions.
Yeah.
You know, he's moved from tight head to hooker, and UCD really infringing in the air there. They're contesting for it on that occasion, trying to stop the line-up maul by winning the ball, but the referee
referees-
reaching for his pocket here.
A second yellow card for UCD now, and Bobby Sheen's appealing, but doesn't look like it'll be overturned, and be a long walk back to the dugout now for the UCD substitute.
Diarmuid Mangan, who's a member of, he was on the fringes of last year's Ireland under-20 squad that won the championship, and he's expected to be a starting player for the Irish under-20s when that campaign starts in the Six Nations. Yeah, you know, contesting in the air now, you're allowed contest, but you're not really allowed bump off your opposition player. You're not allowed touch them. They're as protected as goalkeepers are up in the air now. So I didn't think that was so harsh. I think it's the number of penalties UCD are giving away is the issue for the referee.
As a former goalkeeper now, I'll have to stick up for the goalkeeping union and say, that's a bit harsh. But yeah, sometimes an overprotected species for sure.
Well, certainly more protected than goalkeepers used to be.
Definitely, yeah. So Ballynahinch put in, they're only 5 metres out and they go again for the maul, but UCD look to have sacked it. And it's crossing, the referee has shouted for it, so UCD have gotten a penalty.
A cunning plan. Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Sacking them all.
Yeah.
I'm not. Again, that wasn't something that I was au fait with when we were playing. It wasn't something that was done, but you see it in the professional ranks. But it's the first time we've seen UCD do it today, and you wonder why haven't they been sacking or trying that much earlier in the game? Easier said than done, no doubt.
So put into the scrum here for UCD, and again they're down numbers, so they're down numbered, so they'll probably be looking to just get the ball out of here. Tim Corkery's in at 10, so he'll be the person we'll be looking to exit through if we don't go with a big carry off 8.
Pushing
a
before
UCD
the
penalty.
pushing before the ball was in to start with for my money, and then the penalty actually given. Well, referee saying that the loose head was driving in and down.
And a
And
good
that just
touch
sneaks
from
into
Tim.
touch.
We needed a bit of luck there. That was
Yeah.
excellent from Tim Corkery. Trying to push the boat out. May as well go for it. And particularly with the wind in his back, you know, odds are to work out. Bobby Sheehan flying over to get set up straight away. He wants to get the ball moving. He wants to get on with things. Brilliant prospect, that hooker, Bobby Sheehan. He's unfortunate that his under-20s campaign was interrupted with COVID and stuff, but he's flying it for UCD. Ball's moved out into the midfield, the UCD backline starting to link up. Big clear out coming in, and UCD move the ball again. Jerry Hill, they look after they just managed to hold on to the ball. Michael Maloney looking to fling the ball out wide. Bobby Sheehan steps up to take the carry, and he's firmly put to ground. Michael Maloney decides to go back the way, back blind, and good distance on that carry, and Michael Maloney tries to find space in the backfield with his left foot, but unfortunately it's blocked down, and Ballynahinch have the ball back again. The substitute scrum half is looking to tidy up the ball, and good carry. UCD are on that ball with the turnover. Super turnover by UCD's number 19, and Chris Crosgrave looks to play 9. A big step off the right foot from the UCD back rower, and Michael Maloney's moving. Really good ruck pace from UCD here. Really good ruck speed, and they're moving the ball very well here with great enthusiasm inside the Ballynahinch 22.
So
going
resolute
backwards.
Hinch defence that's meeting them. It's that gain line hasn't really been broken.
Big hit by Ballynahinch. UCD look to clear it out, and Michael Maloney's cleaning it. Quick ruck ball, very good stuff. Big carry from UCD again. Michael Maloney moving the ball. Links with Tim Corkery. Big carry. The referee thinks about putting his hand out and doesn't. Jerry Hill with the carry, and it's a good carry. and the ball secured. Michael Maloney keeps the ball moving blind, and there's no space there. UCD have the ball again. Michael Maloney moves it, and nice tip pass. Forwards linking well in that pod, and Michael Maloney moves it again. Tim Corkery with a nice offload to find a forward, and Ballynahinch are on the ball. A brilliant turnover from Captain McCall. Zach McCall coming over with an important turnover for Ballynahinch after a long spell of possession from UCD.
Great skills.
And Ballynahinch have lots of time on the ball here, and they look to move the ball back in field. That's really unfortunate from UCD. A nice spell of possession that we haven't had for in a while.
And nearly another steal. It's worked out. Somehow has worked out. Both sides poaching off each other there. I mean, great defence, great alignment from Ballynahinch, and much better from UCD in terms of energy and good interplay in terms of passing.
It's been a real fight on the ground, hasn't it? Lots of turnovers coming, often within the same phase of play, just turnover and turnover. It's very frantic out there, both sides.
Went both ways there.
Yeah.
So it's the best field position UCD have had in this half.
UCD halfway inside the Ballynahinch 22 now, and they'll be looking to try and set something up here, maybe even set up a maul against Ballynahinch. We'll see what happens. Bobby Sheen with the put in.
Shortened to a 5-man line out.
About 7 minutes to go. UCD really want to get a score on the board here. Jerry Hill takes the ball. The transfer wasn't the cleanest. UCD looking to try and get the ball back, but it looks like the Ballynahinch second row, Cormac Izzy, had hand on the ball, but UCD somehow managed to get the ball back into their own half. Big carry by Ben Brownlee, and he turns and presents. Michael Maloney goes blind. Dramatic dive on the ground by a UCD prop to get out of the way of the ninth pass. Michael Maloney recycles the ball well, and UCD still with the ball inside the opposition 22. Chris Cosgrave is finding himself in the back of the ruck, and Michael Maloney moves the ball again. This is a good spell of possession. UCD battering away at the Ballynahinch 5-metre line. And there's a rip from Ballynahinch, and they dive on the ball again. And referee points it's an advantage to UCD. It looks like a knock-on he's indicating.
Yeah, again, very nip and tuck in the tight exchanges there. The ball being ripped one side and then by the other. UCD somewhat fortunate to my eye there to emerge with possession on the 5, middle of the pitch, and an opportunity to open the scoring in this half.
Yeah, Ballynahinch looked to have had their hands on the ball in that maul, and then very nearly shut down the UCD attack there, but fortunately UCD somehow managed to rip the ball back onto their own side, and but again, very resolute defence from Ballynahinch on their own 5-metre line.
Everything they've done today, they've been really cohesive throughout, and really working as a team. Great skill, individual skills and unit skills, but it's their energy, their concentration on both sides of the ball, and great execution. UCD really dominated the first quarter, arguably the first half hour, and ever since then it's been slim pickings for the college side, and Hinch's energy and their sense of purpose and cohesion and everything they've done together has really, for me, been the standout difference between the teams. Aside from that obvious dreaded line-out maul, I think in terms of sacking, I think it's you've got to sack the catcher, but the speed of transfer of the ball from the catcher for Ballynahinch to the back of the maul. Once that ball is transferred, you can't sack. So it's that speed of transfer has been fantastic, and is probably the reason why UCD did not have the option throughout the game to shut down that line-out maul.
Yeah. As you say, in general, there doesn't seem to be much between both teams in open play. It's just the upper hand the Ballynahinch seem to have coming off the more organised set piece seems to have been the difference so far today.
Yeah, but I'd say as well the Ballynahinch halves, particularly their out half, they've been much more purposeful and clear in what they're trying to do, a lot tidier.
UCD with a nice carry off the back of their midfield scrum there, and they've got the ball about 5 metres out. Great carry from Jerry Hill. He reaches. He looks to have scored the try, but the referee giving a penalty to Ballynahinch for double movement, it seems. It's
the second time in the match for UCD They've been denied a try early in the first half of their period of dominance, and again here now towards the end of the game.
Good clearance from Greg Hotley, and Ballynahinch have found their way just outside their own 22. And they'll have the put into the line out. Unfortunate to not come away with a score there. But again, we're just outside the opposition 22. So
Still in the right part of the field. We'll see if any of our jumpers can get up. I don't know how much longer before Dermot Mangan gets back onto the pitch. He'd be a good addition. I see him here just patrolling the touchline and looks to be readying himself to rejoin the fray. A very athletic player, tall, certainly a man you want in the lineouts.
UCD have picked up a lot of losing bonus points and try bonus points so far this season. So when they do start putting phases together and stuff in attack, it works quite well, and they're quite an exciting prospect. But there's just a big gulf on the scoreboard between the two teams today, it seems.
Yeah, very, very rare for UCD to be shut out altogether.
Yeah.
They normally manage to find points in a match through either a losing bonus point or a try. A 4-try bonus point.
The referee is pointing.
Penalty for a shoulder there, somewhere off the ball that he spotted.
I'd imagine it was on the kicker who was chasing the ball, it seems. But regardless of what the penalty was for, again, an easy exit for Ballynahinch when UCD could have really done with some territory inside the opposition 22. Dermot Mangan back on the field from the yellow, and he'll be looking to make an impact straight away after the little break.
Yeah, just looking at UCD's performance in the league so far this year, they've 6 try bonus points across the matches, whereas today not a single score. So very rare. Again, credit to Ballynahinch's defence to shut UCD out altogether from a team that has got that many try bonus points across the league. Is quite an achievement.
Pass there from the back of the line, that was flat at best, and Ballynahinch look after the ball well. They recycle the ball well, and they look to attack blind with a lot of pace, and they had a forward pod of 2 that was coming at serious pace, and UCD just managed to shut it down, but they've made some serious ground, Ballynahinch. And there's a nice roll by the Ballynahinch forward, so he's made some great ground there, and they're recycling the ball very quickly. This is a relentless attack from Ballynahinch, but they've knocked it on UCD with the advantage. They have the ball, and they turn and present, and they look to secure possession. Michael Maloney still on the pitch, looking to spread it wide. Tim Corkery linking with Chris Cosgrave, and they've made the touchline. Excellent idea to try and link up back, but they've kept the ball alive. It's a bit sloppy from UCD, possibly trying to force it. Ballynahinch now with the possession inside the UCD 22, and they fling it wide. Pringle on the ball, and he spreads it to his winger, but UCD have turned it over, and the Ballynahinch winger just managing to not hold on to the ball, and UCD have possession. They clear past the ruck, and Michael Maloney recycles the ball. Chris Cosgrave with the attempted crossfield kick, a lovely idea. Will it bounce favourably? They fine touch, so it'll be a Ballynahinch put in. And the referee indicates full time. A tough result for UCD in a game where they really would have looked to try and make some headway and close that gap on Ballynahinch, who are just above them on the table.
Yes, UCD firmly rooted now towards the end of the table. That was an opportunity to get mid-table, and all credit to Ballynahinch for an excellent performance. Really, both sides of the ball throughout the game, having sort of yielded a bit of ground in the first quarter, they really dominated from then on, and they were just on it. Great energy, great concentration throughout, and a superb performance that didn't give UCD a sniff.
A very long away trip across D4 to Lansdowne away to UCD after this. So again, a really important fixture coming up.
That will be, yeah. They've an opportunity themselves and Lansdowne looking to vying between each other as to who is going to be propping up the bottom of the table, along with Garryowen. So
And Shannon as well in the next few weeks. So some very important fixtures for UCD to try and make headway back up the table.
yeah, a lot of end of the table clashes next week. Ballynahinch are at home to Garryowen, so all those teams are getting an opportunity to sort each other out and to try and get away from the bottom. But that was certainly not what we expected after a titanic nip and tuck battle last week. A very dominant and excellent performance from Ballynahinch.
Big thank you to Doppler Media for their coverage of the games. They always do a wonderful job. A massive thank you to the matchday sponsors, it must be said, Coen Steel, and their continued support, and also the club's main sponsors, EY, and they do a brilliant job. So 24-0 full time score with Ballynahinch coming out on the winning side. Thanks a million for tuning in, and thanks a million to Connor for helping with
Pleasure.
the
We'll
coverage
see
today.
now if Hinch brought their sponsors Hinch whiskey with them, because there's no glazing here, let alone triple glazing. So we've endured the cold. Hopefully Hinch whiskey will step up now and
One can only hope.
recognise. Yeah,
Thanks a million.
it's long.
And manufacturers of premium grade steel. Coen Steel is renowned for its industry-leading commitment to innovation, quality standards and strengthening customer outcomes. Featuring an extensive network right across Ireland, Coen Steel sources, stocks and fabricates standard and specialised premium grade steel to industries including manufacturing, engineering, construction, agriculture and green energy. The range of CE marked and CARE certified premium steel products include general and specialist steel, mild steel plates, reinforcing steel and steel for farm machinery and equipment. Coen Steel also supplies steel for wind energy infrastructure such as wind turbine foundations and masts. A recognised industry leader in the supply of standard and stainless reinforcing steel across Ireland and abroad, Coen Steel uses the latest automated technology for its reinforcing, cutting and bending services at its Oranmore manufacturing facility. These steel services are operated within a rigorous quality system that is fully compliant with international quality standards and supported by the latest precision technology. Coen Steel's unrivaled stockholding and warehousing facilities at Greenore, supported by its extensive distribution fleet, provide customers with reliable and timely delivery of steel products throughout the island of Ireland and the UK. Coen Steel is proud to have developed a global network of strategic alliances that provide customers with greater access to premier steel mills across Europe and Asia. These premier partnerships also provide Coen Steel's customers with superior product support designed to enhance product performance and extend product life. Unrivaled in its ability to strengthen customer outcomes through its commitment to quality, innovative practice and leading-edge technology, Coen Steel is your premier Irish partner for strength and innovation in steel. To learn more, visit coensteel.ie.